What's up, guys? Captain Legendary in the building. I'm back with Legendary Talks. How's everyone doing tonight? I think these bracelets are going to get on my nerves, but they look kind of good. Hey, guys. What's up? Thanks for joining. These bracelets are going to bother me, but they're looking kind of good, right? How y'all feeling? I have the amazing Deja Smith tonight. Cannot wait to talk to her. I'm trying to pin this. Got it. Okay. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining. Legendary Talks, episode 106. It's my 106th episode. Very excited. Captain Damon, yes. Already said it, Sid. Little late. Coming in late. Actually, Elizabeth Barron got me this shirt. I hope she's watching. And I have the amazing Deja Smith tonight. She's a wonderful, interesting, cool, humble lady that I cannot wait to talk to. Also, we're celebrating Little Kim's hardcore album came out 24 years ago today. I posted a video of me and Little Kim about maybe 5 years ago on my birthday performing No Time, which, you know, I still can't believe something like that happened. You know what I mean? Very exciting for me. And I run into Little Kim from time to time, and she always says, "Oh my God, I love you." And, I still can't believe that Little Kim knows who I am. So, Deja has just joined. Hey, Deja, what's up? Do you want me to request you, or are you going to request me, Deja? We have Deja, like I said tonight. She's very unique, amazing, humble, cool, interesting lady. What's up, Joseph Solis? I didn't realize that you followed me on IG. Deja's requesting me. I didn't realize you followed me on IG. I'm about to talk to the amazing Deja Smith.
Hi, Damon.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Wait, hold on. One quick adjustment.
She's gone, I guess. She's over it. She's like, forget it.
No, I'm coming.
She's like, I'm over it.
Not over. Ooh, adjusting lighting. It's freaking me. It was all good until it wasn't good. Sorry, Damon. Hi, my love.
Hi, Boo. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Gorgeous.
Hi, Captain Damon. You know how to bring it for you, though.
That's me, Captain Damon. I dressed for you tonight.
And I dressed for you. Could you tell?
Gorgeous. Well, thank you for doing this. I think you of these. This is my 100th episode. And, on Legendary Talks, what I try and do is celebrate an important culture. And that, to me, is a very broad term. So it could be anything. Like people that I consider to have been important to culture that need to be celebrated. We are here to celebrate you tonight as a... So what are you drinking?
Water.
All right. What's our drinking word?
Well, I had an herbal libation earlier, so I just figured water would do me for the moment.
What's our drinking word going to be?
Say it one more time.
What is our drinking word going to be?
Oh. Opportunity.
Good. There you go. Cheers. Cheers.
Salud.
Okay. So, Deja, first I want you to describe yourself as if we had never met.
Say it one more time.
Describe yourself to me as if we had never met.
Okay. Let's see. Sweet, humble, around the way girl with an education, art focused, compassionate, and loving.
Amazing.
Okay, cool.
I agree with the sweet, humble, and around. Those are the three that stand out to me.
For sure.
Okay, where are you from, Deja? Okay.
I'm from Long Island, actually, from Amityville. I was born in Amityville, Long Island, which is Suffolk County, and raised in Wyandanch, which is kind of a lateral move as far as towns go on Long Island. It's a very interesting place, I think, to be to have been brought up because there was such an ethnic diversity there, but then there was also a big disparity in the wealth gap, in wealth and culture. Let's just put it that way.
And how do you think that? What do you do away from that as an adult? Like, how did that influence you? Like, current life? You know, what about that still influences you?
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking about that today because I've just been running from my upbringing for so long, or running from the situation that is Long Island, or at least the situation I was brought up in,
Yeah.
because it was at times so beautiful and at times so hurtful.
Yeah.
So it was like there were so many brilliant moments, like my family, which my grandparents from both sides are from the South, and my parents on both sides were first generation New Yorkers. So the culture in the household was very Southern. But then outside, I was still contending with, New York aesthetics. So it was a nice mashup, to learn in that space, especially where I grew up in Amityville. The block itself was a lot of veterans and families who happened to be relocated after the Korean War. And so it was like kind of family friendly at the beginning, and then I saw rapid change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was Veterans Day yesterday, and then today is Little Kim's 24th anniversary. Really
Amazing.
for me.
That album got me through.
I know, right?
Oh, yes.
I just posted a video of me and Little Kim performing on my birthday about 5 years ago, and when I posted the video, I still can't believe that really. I know I did it. I planned to watch the video, like I still can't believe that happened.
Was I there that night? Was that the Lux Ball, your birthday?
I mean,
Stage 48, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that night. That was brilliant. I have the picture. Actually, 2015.
So
This night.
Oh, amazing! It's so you're sweet. And then person like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think those are really creative years for creative adults.
For sure.
Age years, it's kind of like prior to that. Okay.
Yes, just turn it off.
Who influenced you, like a famous person, a family member? Who do you think kind of influenced you most during that time?
Probably my cousin, actually. My older cousin, Robert. He was, or is, I should say, has always been kind of a beacon of light for me because he was easily able to navigate so many different worlds.
Yeah.
He's a Morehouse man. So going to his graduation at that age, around that age, it highly influenced me. I mean, we had discussed in my household like Black excellence my entire life, but then to witness it in action with one of my relatives was really transformative moment. So that kind of helped to shift my trajectory at that point. As far as celebrities go, who was I like really into?
It could be Little Kim, could be Diana Ross, could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. I was just wondering, I think we all have that person, even thing that really influenced us as age. I mean, it doesn't have to be a cousin or, that was amazing, so.
Yes, well, my cousin for sure, but then Little Kim later on, maybe one of my early 20s, I went back and reached in the bag and grabbed that hardcore album to get me through. Around the time we met each other, actually.
Well, the thing is, that album when it came out, I remember when it came out, I had never heard anything like that in my life. It was
Absolutely.
People are saying, commenting, copy, hear me?
Ish, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, but I can hear you copy when I'm talking to you.
It's going in and out a little bit, but I don't know if that's me. It could be me.
Are you on your computer or?
I'm on my phone, but I can switch to be on my computer.
But is anybody in your house listening as well?
Tranny Bear, can you hear us?
They should take it off. I think that's what it is. You mean?
Take it off.
The phone, or do you have two devices on right now is my question.
Copy that, yes.
I think that's it.
But I muted the computer, but that's okay. Is this better, everyone?
You're fine. It's just, and I'm fine. They're just saying that me.
Okay.
I'm going to continue, and if it's bothering you, we'll start again. How about that?
Okay.
You can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Sure.
Okay, great. That's all that. Okay, so then I want to ask you a couple, again, those creative questions are really. What's the first song or kind of like artist that you really connect with? Kind of rocked your world, really. I mean, it could be a song. So.
that rocked my world was probably Erica Badu.
Oh, cool. And why?
Yeah. Well, I was raised very Protestant Christian, and so it was I didn't listen to a lot of secular music until maybe high school, when I got into creative arts high school, especially. Um, then I started exploring more because I had more reach, through my friends group. And Erica Badu really spoke to my upbringing, I guess, when it was like boom, 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 boom. Oh my. I just picture my whole family, my grandmother in Arkansas. I can picture her being, a maid as a young woman. I can picture her youthfulness and how her and my grandfather fell in love in Arkansas and then, kind of took this crazy trip to get to New York. There was such a connectivity there between the aesthetic, that neo-soul aesthetic, and my upbringing.
Well, Erica Badu is also very important, especially at the time, because nobody was doing that at all. People were doing that, and then she came out, and that video in particular kept back in the day.
Yes. The Color Purple reference was like spot on.
Yep.
Loved it.
And then, with Tyrone being like a very important song. Everyone knew a Tyrone during that time. Everybody knew a Tyrone, still do. So
that's it, honey.
And then what movie do you think either could describe you or kind of blew your mind as a young person?
The movie that blew my mind as in my youngest years was The Wiz.
Oh, amazing.
And the Wiz did it for me. I just spoke about it recently, but it just took me into a fantasy land that I had never been allowed to go to before. And just the way that the story was told, right? It was akin to The Wizard of Oz, but because it was so Black positive and so creative and beautiful, the Black body was just lifted up to such a beautiful place in that movie.
Well, the movie took place in the world and celebrated, during that time. Didn't also came out, I think, 72, but about 77. But that time period, mid 70s, was, I guess it was Diana Ross and Barry Gordon doing such amazing things and so ahead of their time. What they were doing for Black, I guess, culture in general.
That's it.
I showed Mahogany at my movie night at Stanford, and
I was there.
A lot of young people come, and they're in their 20s, with each other for the first time, and I was like, you understand, 1963, a Black woman, entire cast is basically celebrated in such a high fashion way.
Exactly.
Ahead of its time, really. So.
Absolutely, it was transformative to put such a concept on a big screen. Like, a Black woman can be this major supermodel of the world, and she can be loved and adored by all different types of people. This is amazing. And then come back to her community and kind of invest in her community. I live for that movie. She's down there in my DVD collection.
I love
Lady Pink Boobs.
I love Billy D. Williams in that movie too. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I know, right? I
don't care if you carry it up here in a sack of nickels.
Yep.
That's my guess, huh?
And then who's the first Black model you ever saw in life that you were?
First Black model that I ever saw in life? Probably Naomi on fashion TV. I used to be, this is when my mother first bought her house, and I had space to kind of play and be left alone. Maybe I emulated that Naomi Campbell walk from one end of the living room to the next, and then I took it to the streets. And it was a scandal. But I was obsessed with Naomi Campbell early in life.
It's funny because most people say Naomi Campbell, and I guess, again, Naomi being another one, I don't think she really gets the credit for how impactful it's been for culture, Black culture in general, for the past 30 years, because most people say that's the first model they've ever saw in life.
Yes.
Naomi. Everyone says Naomi. It's interesting.
Yeah. I think, and when I'll say that in movement, let's say moving in a space, and especially in a space that's mostly white centric, was Naomi. I've seen plenty of Black models, but in Essence and Ebony and Jet magazines, because those were readily available, but we never had Cosmo or Vogue, so I wasn't familiar with them until I had the agency to kind of seek out on my own, and thank God for cable television and being a latchkey kid, because I had a little bit more access
Well, it's interesting because I often with this one is that, again, me being basically everybody on here, you and I obviously are, and creative people seek out information and creativity. Like I was obsessed with like art when I was a teen, going to like books, looking at photography books and art books and that. And obviously BET, MTV. Where did you in magazines were very important to me too. Where were you getting information from? We're all kind of desperate to find the information. So
Yeah.
out. So where were you getting your information from?
It was a mixture of the library where I was allowed to go, like, again, very kind of strict Christian upbringing, and my mother was a police officer. So I had tight, tight hands on me at all times. It was a very controlled situation. But the library was Kobe Public Library. I was allowed to hang out in, and I got a lot of information there because they had a periodical section. And then they had books on art, and I was allowed to be, no, let me not say that. My mother encouraged me to be creative because it was, I guess, an outlet that she saw as safe. And so I could peruse the aisles and look at these arts and crafts books. And then one day I found this Kevin O'Fon book, Making Faces, and that just blew, that was it. After that, I was just like, I can change everything about my face. I can restructure it with these beautiful makeup products and create a whole new persona. Incredible. So then that led to the magazines and periodicals and kind of obsession for beauty and glamour.
And you saw that book in the library?
In the Kobe Public Library, that's right.
And who's the trans person you became? Like,
The first was this lady in my neighborhood. Her name was Asia, and she had a brother. Now, I'm going to preface it with my neighborhood was the hood, for sure. Amityville was the hood. It gave very Crooklyn vibes. If you've seen the movie Crooklyn, it was like akin to that as far as the neighborhood goes. And so there were queer people around, but it was a very taboo subject, obviously socially conservative. However, Asia, I remember maybe I was walking somewhere in the neighborhood and just seeing her, she caught my eye. She had these pencil thin black eyebrows and her hair was up in a ponytail, and I was just like transfixed. And then eventually I met her brother, Seven, and then he introduced me to Asia, and I just felt like I had died and went to heaven because for the first time, I didn't know if I don't think I felt that I was seeing myself, but I was seeing something that felt weirdly familiar.
Yeah, I understand.
A person that felt more familiar than like my family members.
Yeah, I get more. I get it. It's interesting too. I asked Debbie Smith kind of who influenced style as a young person, and she said the barmaids in Harlem in like, I don't know, maybe the 70s. I'm not sure what 70s or 80s. I'm not sure when it was, but she said they kind of like dress, I guess, provocative. They're cha-cha heels, short skirts, and like low cut. She said they had such, they took so much pride in how they dressed that they influenced. I thought that was a great reference. That influences how she dresses style-wise. It's amazing. You mean?
Absolutely. I can, I just think the inspiration to move forward in life as who you want to be comes from such a varied array of places, right? And so Asia might have been the first, but along the way to here today, I have just met so many people who have just been influenced by so many different types of styles, but none more so than trans women, because there's just a vibrance to transness that doesn't exist culturally anywhere else, and I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, trans is an energy too. It's a certain energy. But yeah, I think that style for me too. Like I take style influences from literally anywhere, and it's not where you think it would be. Like it's like it's like different every day. And for me, I've always looked at everything kind of open eye. I can take this and be influenced by this. I think that's hopefully every good artist can. So.
Yes, I think so. I think the brilliant artists can do that.
And then to New York City.
I moved into New York City 2007. I want to say I graduated from university 2004, and I worked for 2 years in South Carolina and on a cruise ship, kind of like back and forth. And then some life-changing things happened, and I decided it was time for me to live in my truth. And in doing so, I wound up moving into Harlem, and that was just an amazing roller coaster, crazy roller coaster ride from that point forward. thank you to everybody that's been with me along the way.
Well, I would say that first year for everybody is defining, and I feel like that first year in New York, you learn everything you need to know in that first year. About New York, I mean, not about life, about New York City.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You learn it all in the first year, and then you're good to go. I mean, what are you right
Say that one more time.
for dance?
No, I was dancing before that, so I was in and out of the city from 13 years old. I started dancing. I mean, I was a student at the Ailey School, and then I was in the, summer programs and scholarships and all that. So I had been in and out of the city, but living actually once before that, when I was 15 years old, I was living at my uncle's apartment on 105th and Central Park West, and attending the Ailey summer camp. That was another transformative experience. I forgot all about that. Incredible. Just to kind of be left on my own and up to my own devices to explore myself, figure out myself at that early stage, even though it didn't really come around for another maybe 5 years after that. It was marvelous. What a good time in New York City too.
So getting back to that first year in New York, who was your kind of crew during that time, your first New York crew?
My sister Sahara was the ringleader, Sahara Davenport. We met in Dallas at Southern Methodist University, and she was definitely like New York, big lights, big city. That was her. She already knew Broadway all the way.
Yeah.
So she was there first, and then when I came, I actually moved. When I moved into the city, I moved in with her old roommate at the time and her best friend. So Mila Jan, you know Mila Jan.
Of course.
That's when we really got close. Sahara introduced us, and also Laverne at that time. But really, the main group was like Sahara, Manila, Jiggly Caliente, Jerome, my dance brother, Jerome Stigler, and Alvin Reed, my best friend since 15. So I just kind of navigated that world.
Yeah, because your crew, again, your first New York crew is so important to your whole. I mean that first group. And it may, they got saves, but it was very important for success, I guess, in New York. What's
Definitely.
New York?
One more time. You went in and out.
Nightclub.
Oh, for club, I ever went to New York. I mean, at 16, I was hanging out in front of Chi-Chi's trying to get in. And Christopher Street was my little playground at that time. So Chi-Chi's, that was the first club I ever got into. No, Escolita.
Of course.
Esco's.
Of course.
Yes, and the doorman knows who he is. I thank you till this day for letting me in. Amazing.
Listen, Escolita is like one of my favorite clubs, I think, of all time. My 6 and 8, like 38th or 39th.
39th inning.
Yeah, I used to walk there like often. I went there again, a really important nightclub. That part was important.
It really was. That floor, it was about that wooden floor. The DJs and that damn wooden floor, the way the music would bounce off of it, incredible. The energy was insane. You would leave sweaty and smelling like cigarettes, but you had met lifelong friends.
And then they finally got a hip hop. It had been Latin music and more house music. They finally did a hip hop. So happy. It was very happy.
Oh, really? I love that house. I've always been a house girl.
I was always a hip hop, and I did an actual straight hip hop night.
Yeah. You didn't want the mix show?
I wanted hip hop. So, what were some other highlights during the time? Do you remember?
I was in New York at the time. I think where else was going on? I think that was Octagon time. Maybe Octagon had just closed at that point. But I was not really a club person. I was more of a bar. I liked a seedy bar that gave you juke joint vibes. So Chi-Chi's, Two Potato, Rockwell's in Brooklyn. Do you remember Rockwell's? Oh, shade fest, but it was fun. Anything like that, I love.
Something funny that I'm gonna blow up your spot a little bit. Every time you come to my parties, and I blow up, you know what I'm gonna say, right?
I do.
There for 5 minutes, and all this, one guy's totally hitting within 6. You just come in. There's plenty of girls there, and you draws these men in. You'll just go to the bar and drink very. thing. Chill. And then I look, alrighty, all right.
It's always a surprise to me because I'm just minding my business, wanting to enjoy the vibe. You create such a vibe in your parties that I'm always like, okay, I see myself. I see like space for myself to just exist. So I want to float on the emotion and on the vibe that's swirling around the room. And then before I know it, there's just a friend.
Every time, like every single time you go to my party. Okay, so how did you get into makeup? How did that start?
Makeup started for me in college. Well, no, let me not say that. It started for me as a very young queer person figuring themselves out. My mother works for Fashion Fair. When I was really young, she was a Fashion Fair counter makeup, I guess, associate makeup artist. And she used to do like kitchen table makeovers all the time for proms and weddings. All that happened. But then when she joined the police force, I had a little more freedom and access to her products. So I would play in every color possible. They had these like the original Fashion Fair palette that had all those colors. The teal, I was obsessed with teal. Teal eyeshadow and like cherry red lipstick was the answer for me. I just needed to like see that in myself, and I would play with the liners, didn't know what the hell I was doing. Foundations, all the things, but I loved it. So that was my first experience with makeup. And then moving into the world of dance, stage makeup gave me a little more leeway with understanding how the face works and understanding, like, from a distance, how you can create illusion. And then from there, in college, Sahara introducing me to drag at Station 4, which was the Village Station at that time, and the Legendary Rose Room in Dallas. She used to perform there at Talent Night all the time, and then she got me into it. I was just trying to be a girl, but she was doing hardcore drag. So it was like a fun little give and take, amazing learning lesson. And our drag mother, Alexis Davenport, she's the head of the Davenport family, honey. And we all had to learn to be a part of the family. If you couldn't put your face on, you couldn't go. So we had to get it together.
What do you think? What mean? They're both very creative. Obviously, dance is more physical, but Missy Copeland, I that, like, sometimes she dances like 12 hours a day, like some 8, 9, 10 hours a day. But besides that, what were the differences? How did it feel? What felt different about the two creative things? You mean?
I don't think that there is such a difference as far as what it takes to kind of get to the top. Is you have to be dedicated, period. And I learned that more and more every day, because anything that takes you away from your focus, that kind of distractions keep you behind. And I think what dance taught me is to always be attempting to achieve greater. Even if you don't reach it at the very moment, your goal is to be better, period. And so I could take those lessons from the world of dance, the kind of maybe strict nature, discrimination that I learned there, and easily kind of roll that into a makeup career. The part that also is the same is the politics piece of it all. And then it's just like contending with politics no matter where you go. And I think that's in any career. It's not specific to dance or makeup. But at least I learned it in the world of dance that I had such a passion for. And I can understand it and how it affects my makeup career.
Yeah, it was probably good training for you to learn all that stuff at a young age, and then to do something different, but take those lessons in your career. That's great. You know.
Absolutely.
What do you think your first big break?
First big break, there were a lot. I think the first big one though was working with Candy. Absolutely, that was huge for me and Dee, because it was the first job we did after deciding to establish this company, Double E Production. It was our first like major gig. It all happened by chance.
Amazing.
And they met Dee in a nightclub. He met them at Secret Nightclub. And then from there just turned into this beautiful experience that kept unfolding with more and more gigs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Start to feel successful as a makeup artist?
2 years ago.
Okay.
It took a little while.
Okay, listen, what's wrong with that? Some people say never, like they don't feel,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said 2 years ago, not like, yesterday. So, um,
That's how it feels.
and then, so how did you start working with Laverne? You said you had met back in the day, friends in the day.
Yeah, we had met earlier, like when I first moved into the city. We had worked on some projects with our girlfriend Mila Jam.
Mhm.
And then Dee and I decided to establish our company, and we were having our launch party for the
Double
website.
Double D Productions.
Double D Productions, hashtag DD Pro, hashtag DD Pro Studio.
Shout out to D. First of all, we love you. And y'all are some double D's. So I mean,
We
okay,
are definitely Double D.
love that name. First of all, it's both you. Both. Um,
So,
yeah, I remember
so,
to me has this very star quality. I had the Lotus was a party of mine that was very successful, and she would come there by herself, if I remember correctly, almost every week, and like every celebrity would be there: Jay-Z, Puffy, Pharrell, Mariah Carey, and she would back dance floor just by herself all night. And I remember her, and we, weren't like probably phone friends, but we were totally social. I really remember her every week coming and just like her heart on the dance floor. I remember that so much, and that was in the early 2000s. So you mean?
yeah, that's the piece like about New York at that time was you could go and like dance out your issues.
Yep.
I miss that so much. Like the spaces where you could just be in your own zone, in love and in sync with the music, and like literally leave it on the dance floor, and then take it out, live your life, deal with the trash, and then come back and do it again the next, day, week, whatever.
You're absolutely right. I mean, do you think you end up working together for like so closely? Did you see that coming, or what?
Not at all. When we had our launch party, it was like, let's give this thing a shot, basically. We literally scraped up all the money that we had to throw this kind of lavish style party for our website, and that was one of the biggest. That wasn't the biggest payoff. There were so many payoffs that night, but that was like an incredible benefit to kind of risking it all to, you know, live, breathe, exist, create in New York City. We were just determined to do that. So her being there, number one, was just an honor just to have her there. So many of the girls were there. Isis was there, Isis King, Bella Mock was there, just a lot of people. Manila, Shangela, a lot. And then so many of my family members were there. And then I remember her asking, I remember like it was yesterday, like, oh, hey, I have some things coming up. Would you be interested in doing makeup? And I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. That would be fabulous. Like, that is actually why we had this party, not just to enjoy all of your company. We were hoping to get some things going. And that started such an amazing journey for me and me with her. It's been incredible.
I envision it being casual, like, hey, do you want to do my makeup? But then, again, I'm I don't have dates, like she was an actress on a TV show, and then the world made her a global star. I feel like you were kind of there, sort of from the beginning, and you all kind of did it together. Like her was skyrocketing, and as so that would make your career also do the same. So
Exactly.
they all did it together, which was great to see and yeah, witness. But I've said this many times about her that I get this is my opinion is that her goal was to be like the trans spokesperson for the entire world, actress, and I think the world very quickly made her into this spokesperson, and she so graciously stepped into the role and has blossomed so much, like in front of our eyes, and it's such a beautiful. And I'm just like so proud of her and you and that whole situation. It's amazing to see. So
Thank you. And I agree with you 100%. I think she was just on a trajectory that said, this is my goal. I know I have the ability, I have the talent, I have the skill set to make this happen. So I'm going to go for my goal. And then in doing so, she also happened to be ready. Like, you know how Cheryl Lee Ralph says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
mm-hmm.
She was ready and she stays ready. And I learned just so much from watching her and just trying to keep up with her drive, her intelligence. Oh my gosh. She really is just a brilliant person, and she cares. She's so compassionate and empathetic and able to kind of organize the artistry from the advocacy. And in my book, she can do no wrong.
I know, I agree. keeps getting rising higher than it was. You know, you don't think this can't go any higher, and she's rising higher. That's her goal, but the world made it, and she created the role. You know, so
Absolutely.
so I do want to say this for anybody watching. I've said it a million times. Everybody, Disclosure.
Please.
It's such an important movie. 13th in Disclosure. I think every person that knows me, I won't be friends with people that have. So both movies are both very informative, and I think that like country to sixth graders, cool, both of the movies, because they would. I think that is that. I think both movies are so important, and
I'm counting on Joe Biden to enlist some of these important media pieces, into our education system. The only way that we're going to move forward is to educate young, not wait until people have already formed their opinions.
And I think sixth grade brains are smart enough, like not too old. I think sixth grade is a great age to show, because if we would have saw that in sixth grade, change our young.
Absolutely, yes, definitely.
Disclosure, in particular, Laverne's film, is extremely important. I've told so many people to see it, and like tons of my friends have seen it because I've been so aiming for it. So it's a very important film. So, so Deja, you're a 2-time Emmy nominee for Pose. So let me ask you this. So of course we're cheering you on from the sidelines. We are, but really, what did you? For Pose, obviously, but when you found out you got nominated for an Emmy that first time, what did you really think? Like, what great, you mean?
I thought, how the did I get here? Like, what? Are you serious?
No, I know.
It was a very far off fantasy possibility. Very, very far off. And for it to come so early and on a project that I care so much about.
Yeah.
In the world. And obviously I'm just one of the team
Yep.
that was nominated. The amazing hair and makeup team and wardrobe team from Pose seasons 1 and 2 were all nominated, and I think everyone that works on that show deserves the praise for bringing the stories to the screen so beautifully. But in my own personal experience of being nominated, I was just like, I still am like in disbelief. Like, really?
Well,
that actually happened?
Like I said, and an animation is way more. Like me and Little Kim, I still am like this. I know this really happened.
Yeah.
Because I felt the same. You were probably overwhelmed by animation, right? Like, yeah.
And I'm still kind of dealing with how big that is. I'm contending with how big that is, and also in the landscape of what's happening to Black trans women in general in the nation, to trans people, across the globe, around the globe. But in the United States in particular, it means a lot to me to kind of put those two things next to each other and say, this is a picture of what happened to me, but this is what's happening to my community.
Amazing. And
the contention between the two things is an interesting journey, sometimes complex.
Of course. Well, let me ask you this too, because when you had heard about Pose, I remember when I heard about it before I'd seen it. I don't know, probably working on it. What was how did you feel about it being an all trans cast? I remember, like, this is amazing, but I was really, wow, this is a big deal, because up until that point, and that overlooked a lot of times with Pose because it's so fabulous and glamorous, but it's, going forward, trans people played by trans people. I think, prior to that, it had been like, Laverne, but like prior to that, it had been like girls playing trans people and men, like, the all trans cast is such a very important part to sometimes gets overlooked, but I remember the first time I heard it kind of being like blown away realistically. How did you feel when you had heard first that it was going to be an all trans cast?
I remember reading the article where it said 5 leading trans roles, and I was just like stuck on that 5.
Yeah.
The number 5 was just like, wait, what? Like, we can, and then like series regular. Are you serious? It was an incredible, mind-blowing moment, and I thought, we made it. That's the first thing I thought, like, oh, we're here, Golden Street, things have changed, we're moving forward, and I need to work on this. That was my first thought process when I read that.
How did you get the job?
I was actually nominated for a Guild Award, a Hairstylist and Makeup Artist Guild Award that same year. for my work with Laverne on Rocky Horror Picture Show. And so I was at the awards in LA, in Hollywood, and the pre-party is where I met Erin Kruger McCash, who is the department makeup designer for Pose, or she was going to be the makeup designer for Pose. So after the fact, not really, well, thinking about it specifically, I reached out to my agent and I was just like, I had met Erin at this party. Would it be possible to kind of reach out and let her know that I'm interested and that this speaks directly to my entire like history, my community, and it's a project that I would love to work on. So I kind of planted the seed, or my agent planted the seed for me, and then eventually I got a phone call to come in and work a couple days on the show. And from there, they liked my work and they asked me to stay on full time. So that changed things.
You wanted it and you got it. Good for you. You know what
I
I
mean,
mean? Obviously, I love Pose from episode 1, the first scene, basically, the hair, makeup, clothes, music. I didn't even get to the story or the story. Just the visual alone, 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm in.
pulls you in, right?
What are some of the highlights, I guess, for you you did the, right? Yeah, what are the highlights?
The number one highlight for me was just welcoming, or feeling like I had the ability to welcome so many of my community members, or our community members, into this production world, because I had some experience, and my experience up until that point was a mixed bag of, positive and negative experiences. Production world is something, it's different, it's industry, and getting to learn the industry from the inside is an experience. I'm sure you know this. So the best part of it all for me was just meeting so many different community members, some that I had known my entire life, some people that I had met at Escalitas, some people I had met in different places,
Yeah.
and just welcoming them and just make sure that they felt emboldened and empowered to be, present in every aspect of the film's creation, or the TV show's creation.
And felt fabulous,
And damn near fabulous.
And then let me ask you this: what would be a dream job for you? You're on makeup line. What's your dream job?
I'm kind of reassessing that right now. I just finished working on Shonda Rhimes' new show, Inventing Anna. And so that was, yes, another incredible experience.
Okay.
So all of these experiences, say it again.
Okay, resume. Your resume's getting long.
No, check. But you know me, I've never really stopped working. And so now that I have a moment to just pause and look at all of it, so many of these incredible experiences have just come out of the blue. I didn't even expect to have this level of success, in one perspective, this early. I maybe never thought that I could have this amount of success. So now, when it comes to next jobs, I need to think about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I really need to kind of focus on what has happened to Deja through the process of getting to this point.
Yep.
Where is she still in there?
Well, a lot of times I find that when people work, they just work. They don't. Their brain doesn't continue and create. They're creative.
Yeah.
You just work. You kind of lose something. So yeah, you take that back. I've said with quarantine, the first few months when I wasn't really doing anything, I was getting either to know again or getting back to my old self. Although I felt that I'm getting back to my original self. You mean?
Yes.
So.
And during quarantine, for me, we kind of worked. We got really creative within community, within the specifically Black, queer, trans communities. We invested, and when I say we, I mean myself and D. Tranny Bear, and within our community, we just worked on projects that focused on uplifting and empowering both all Black, trans, and queer people. So in doing so, I didn't really get to rest as much. I felt really happy to be able to have the time and resources to invest in the community, but I didn't do the piece that you did, which was kind of like sit back and really meditate as I should have. So now that I have a minute, I'm going back and going for that piece, the meditation piece, the growth piece.
Couple things too. So I truly believe this, and I'll say it wholeheartedly. If you're an artist and you're not creating time, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about anybody, you're not an artist. People have to be creating right now. You have to be creating, I think, if you consider yourself an artist. It's not humanly possible, number one. Number two, Lynn Whitfield, the actress, who, we know each other kind of, so we called one day, ran had been canceled, basically, for the time being. And she said something that I think is the most important thing for me personally. Only the real and the authentic will thrive time, which I wholeheartedly believe that too. So, only people that are real. So,
I needed to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Miss Lynn Whitfield. Thank you, Miss Lynn Whitfield.
Told me I needed to hear it too, So, and
yeah.
Early April or May, like things were really kind of crazy, and it stuck with me. And to be honest, it's exactly what I needed to hear. Exact same thing. So, okay. So a couple other things. Do you want to maybe talk about a bit, or do we kind of cover?
I would love to.
Yeah.
We can always talk about double E production.
Yes. Okay. What is it exactly? A little bit. Where can we find it? You mean?
Sure. So Double D Productions is a concierge hair, makeup, and image consulting company. We do have a small studio called the DD Pro Studio, which is our in-home space. We also have a small photo studio that we utilize too, so we can shoot small products here. It actually works out the best for us because when we say concierge, it really is word of mouth only, by appointment only. And it's a really comfortable, safe space for anybody. We work with so many different people. Our clientele are incredible, forward-thinking, bold individuals of all shapes, sizes, genders, ages. Everyone is welcome here. So fostering and building this has been an incredible experience. With D, you can start to see some of our work now. Our website is back up running, www.dd-pro.com. On there, you can kind of see the breadth of our work, which is, now that we can see it all up and out, it's really beautiful, colorful, expressive, and empowering. So please check out our website as well. If you need any hair, makeup, or image consulting services, reach out, DM us, and follow us on Instagram, double_D_production.
I'll post it tonight as well. After the talk, I'll put it on my IG stories for you guys. Yeah, I did resume as well, kind of during this time. And when you see the things you've done kind of all back to back, you're like, whoa, you mean?
Yeah, right?
We work. We just work.
Just work.
Deja, what's your first memory of me?
My first memory of you is all in gold. All in gold. I think it was at Handay's party for sure. You, JD, and who else was there? It was you, JD, somebody else. But all at the party, and I just remember this beautiful gold necklace, and you were like shaded and just posed properly. Yeah, exactly. In the room, and I'm just like, okay, I see you, darling. I see you.
I remember going to this cocktail party, and you were kind of sitting by the piano, very just kind of like your boy by the piano, and I think I did a moment, and Dia were kind of like more talkative and more kind of like, I guess, social in a lot of ways. Not that you're not, but you're just a little more coy, And
something like that.
I turned to you, we said something, we instantly clicked. I remember you and I clicking, and we kind of have been friends ever since that moment. So,
that's what yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
For you, you have a certain energy, you have a warmth and an energy that comes out that makes everyone around you feel that way. What comes out of you makes people around you feel. So that's really great. So
that's awesome. That makes me feel amazing.
Yeah, I can't imagine you're mellow and things. I can't even imagine you being stressed out about something. Like I've never seen. I know, but I'm like,
and I don't want you to see it, but it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
Visualize it. Okay, so like you said earlier, and you've gotten really involved in a lot of Black trans organization. Do you want to share anything that you had done or been working on, or something that you're affiliated with? I know you're with the Ackerman Center.
Yes, thank you so much. Ackerman Center has been brilliant. But what is really driving me right now is Black Trans Femmes in the Arts. BTFA Collective, Black Trans Black Trans Femme in the Arts Collective, BTFA Collective, which was some really energized, young, brilliant, creative femme people. A mixture. When we talk about the LGBTQ spectrum, and especially the trans spectrum, the femme side of that spectrum, I'm wholeheartedly invested in kind of giving back to, because Black and brown femmes have always kind of looked out for me and just prepared me across the board to be able to deal with everything that's going to be thrown at us in the streets, you know, and in the workplace and socially. So I really want to give back, and we recently worked together on a project called We Love Candy, which will be coming out hopefully soon. We're hoping for a Transgender Day of Remembrance. This is November 20th release. So hopefully at that time we'll be able to showcase the work. But it was an amazing opportunity to kind of build a team that was Black Trans Femme focused, a project that was Black Trans Femme focused, and even the production side was Black Trans Femme focused. So getting to be my authentic self and also put in work that is true to who I've been like throughout my career. So there's some avant-garde pieces, there's some glamour pieces, there's some kind of like kitschy character pieces to it, and there's some really artful pieces within it that I can't wait for the world to see. And I hope that our community, Black trans women across the globe, Black trans femmes across the globe, see themselves and feel appreciated, because it really is our love letter. So keep your eye out for that. I'll make sure to share as soon as it comes out.
I'll post it as well for you when you're ready. Send it to me. I'll post it.
Thank you.
Like to say, not like to say, but I like to share information on here. Or what I learned during this whole experience for me is that things that are obvious to me are not obvious to other people. So, you know, Black trans women in particular murdered very often, and nobody seems to be really doing anything about it. And the average lifespan of a Black trans woman is
35.
Yes, so
35 years old.
Did not know that. I think that's very important information. And what do you think that someone, not you, someone like me or somebody watching, to help a Black trans person not be ignored basically, in general? What are things we need to help?
I think it just comes down to supporting the truth telling that Black trans women are often doing and often being ignored for. It comes down to like, oh, you're being so dramatic. Often, that's something that comes up all the time. Oh, why are you being so dramatic? Oh, no, it can't be that bad. But sometimes it just comes around to listening, being more quiet than you are speaking, you know, and absorbing what the person is telling you with an empathetic ear and heart. That's number one. Yeah. And then when it comes around to these so-called opportunities, everybody grab your drink. That's our word, opportunity.
Cheers.
Salute. When it comes to these so-called opportunities, if the Black trans femme that you are hoping to help is not leaving that situation in a better position than when they came in, meaning if they've given more as far as telling their story, educating the room, educating a group of people, they're giving, you're taking, you're not helping, and it's not an opportunity. Opportunities mean that you have invested, you've seeded into that person so that their existence can be a little easier. It's not simple, you know. I want people to understand that with the experience of being trans for many people, prior to today, I think today, you know, trans youth may have a little bit more access and understanding. May.
So we've talked about my 19, you know.
Yes, we have definitely talked. But you know, that's a rarity. It's still not across the board.
Shout out to Sydney.
Your kids are getting kicked out, huh?
Shout out to Sydney, her mom.
Shout out to Sydney. Oh, Sydney. That's who was at Kahende's party. It was you, JD, Sydney.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sydney, for the Ackerman Center Connect too.
Yes.
But yeah, shout out to Sydney. So, but there are trans kids who are getting, you know, a little bit more investment from their parents. The parents are looking or feeding into them more than my generation. My generation was well, you can't do that here generation. And so there's still a lot of traumatized people who've had to just survive because of living in their truth. Okay, so that trauma doesn't need to be re-traumatized. That person who has already been traumatized doesn't need to be re-traumatized by your quote-unquote help and by your quote-unquote opportunities. Those opportunities are supposed to make life a little bit easier for that person. So, like, think about it a little more. I'll just put it that way. Think about an opportunity before you offer it. And if it's not going to be something that elevates that person's life, maybe do more listening than talking.
And you said something really important in the beginning too, empathy. I think empathy is such a very important part of all, being empathetic to something that you personally go through. You have to be empathetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
What happened?
empathy, empathy and listening, I think, are things that everyone can do that. So,
Absolutely.
okay, we have 4 minutes left, so I want to ask you some fun questions. What are the 4 best parties you've ever been to in life?
4 best parties. Legendary Damon Lux Ball, circa 2015. I got a lot of DMs after that. Ooh.
Of course.
Oh, definitely. Kahende's 4th of July party, when he had those like trays of lobsters and we were just in the street. We were everywhere. It was hot in the apartment, but it was the most fun. And big. 4 best parties. It has to be Escalita. One of them has to be a party at Escalita. But there have just been so many amazing party nights there.
Maybe your Double D production party.
Oh, our launch party? What?
Yeah.
That was incredible, but there was a lot of stress behind it too, because it was our first time putting on a production.
You don't think the Lux Ball? The Lux Ball was a lot of stress? They're all stressed.
But you made it look so easy, baby.
All right.
You came out like, I think you were gliding on a cheetah. Were you riding a cheetah that year?
Yeah, but yes.
I recall something.
Okay, quickly, I want to ask this other question. So if you could ask dinner, living or dead, who would you?
Octavia St. Laurent,
Oh, amazing.
Sahara Davenport, Antoine Ashley, I would love for you to come back. Um, Nina Simone, and Billie Holiday.
Amazing. All great. Did you know Octavia?
I had seen her at Tiffany's when I was on a little runaway on Christopher Street. I saw her a lot.
And then, how can we support you right now? It's kind of a weird time. People aren't really working. How that we can support you?
I think supporting my company, if you're able to support our company, Double D Production, in some way, we do have information. You know, I have all of the apps, the cash apps, and all those things. If you're willing to donate some money, we will definitely put it to good use. We've been able to give a little stipend to all the people that have worked with us during the pandemic. We've been able to renovate our studio and make space because of people's donations. And then we've also been able, what we're hoping, to be able to do more of a sliding scale for trans-related projects, because oftentimes Black trans people don't have a budget. And so we also don't want to be coming completely out of our pockets. We can't, it's not sustainable. So if you can feed into our company, just know that it will all go to good use. And
you send me everything, I'll post it.
Okay. Thank you
so much for doing this. My 106th, I've been trying to get you on, you know that, for a couple months now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wanted to celebrate you for your contribution to culture. You're such a humble, kind, generous, always very present. With you've been very present. I think that every amount of success that you have, you deserve. I'm so happy for you. We're all so proud of you. And I can't wait for you because, it's very bright, as you know. I love you.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for always being just you, being open, and for holding space for us just to be. Forget about the trans piece, just to be and enjoy. Thank you, Legendary Damon.
Yeah.
You're everything.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I bow.
We love you.